Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. Big plans for the weekend? No? Nothing? Cleo? Wild and crazy? No? Rena? Not wild and crazy? No? Just like, ugh. This pandemic is the worst. You get a weekend and then everyone just kind of goes home and hibernates for 2 days. We're gonna try and get outside and walk around. I think we're gonna go to Fort Langley. I've never been there before, so we're gonna look. I don't know what it's like. I think it's kind of like a cutesy little village area, but I guess I'll find out. So we'll go.
We all?
We all? No, like my fiance and I are going.
Oh.
Yeah, not us. But we're gonna go out there, gonna walk around, have a coffee, see what it's like, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. Yeah. So, you guys are from Lindsay's class, and I hear you have a little quiz to do, and then a video to watch, and then an online forum to work on. Is that what it is, or something like that?
We're on the Zoom call right now,
Oh.
so we have like a quiz that we have to do.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Hopefully we won't distract you too much.
It's okay.
But yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's jump in here. Adon is here, so good morning to you, and Anna's here. Good morning, Anna. Let's go to where we were yesterday. So yesterday, of course, we started watching Mean Girls, which again might have been a surprising choice for you in social justice, but I assure you that it will make sense why we chose this movie later on, okay? Again, it's kind of a fun movie, it's entertaining, but it's also got a lot of stuff in it that we can use to talk about sociology and socialization and how some of these ideas work. And so it'll illustrate some of the things we've already talked about, and it will kind of inform some of the things we'll talk about next week. So again, it's a very useful movie. I had some questions for you here. I posted them in Microsoft Teams, of course, but yesterday we sort of were introduced to the characters, and we saw that, of course, Katie is from, she's been living in Africa with her parents. Her parents have been schooling her, so she's never been to a real high school, right? But her parents come back to the United States to take a job, I think, and she is dropped into the middle of this high school and has to figure it out. And what's kind of going on for her? Why is she so kind of clueless about what's happening?
She never tastes the outside world.
In a way, right? She's been living in a different world, right? In a very different world. And so what does that mean for her as she tries to, go through her day at the high school? What's happening in kind of sociological terms? What's happening for her? Is she like totally confident and cool and no?
She's totally clueless.
She's totally clueless, right? And why?
She never been.
Yeah, she's not socialized, right? Crazio pointed out that this high school is like a little society, right? It's like a little bubble of its own. And she's entered this bubble, and she doesn't really know anything. She doesn't know the sort of values of the school. She doesn't know the beliefs of the school. She doesn't know the social norms of the school, right? She doesn't know any of that stuff, right? And so she's trying to figure it out. Luckily, she's made a couple of friends really quickly, right? Janice and Damien. And they're going to, in a way, they're almost going to, I guess it's peer socialization. Yeah, I guess it's peer socialization. But they're going to socialize her, right? They're going to tell her all the things that she should do and shouldn't do, how she should do them, they're going to help her, right? At least that's what it looks like so far. We saw a bunch of different social groups yesterday in the school, right? And so we, the camera kind of panned through the cafeteria, right, as Janice narrated all of these different social groups to us sitting at specific tables. And I wanted to ask you, so there was the preppy guys and the jocks and the Asian nerds and the cool Asians and the unfriendly black hotties and the sexually active band geeks and the burnouts and the girls who eat their feelings and the girls who don't eat anything and the desperate wannabes, the plastics, the coolest people you will ever meet, right? Which is not an actual group. But now, my question to you is that if you were Katie, right? If you were like walking into the cafeteria at North Shore High School, your first day, how do you kind of figure out where you might sit, right? There's all these little kind of social bubbles. How might you do it? How might you figure out where you might belong and where you maybe definitely don't belong?
Okay, for the first time, I think you sit alone first.
The first time what?
If I were first time there,
Yeah.
I might sit alone first.
You might sit alone. Okay.
Because you don't know anybody.
It's true, you don't. So, okay, let's say you do that. Let's say you go in.
Your classmate.
Let's say you don't know anyone yet. Okay? You haven't made any friends. You come in, you sit down at a table by yourself, and you're kind of looking around, right? And you're trying to figure out, who are your people, right? Where are my people here? Maybe, right? And again, how might you figure that out?
Our classmate.
Okay, people you might be in the same class with, right? You might think, oh, maybe I'll go sit with them. We're in the same class, right? What else might you look for? People have the same interest, right? So if you're a football player, maybe the jock table might be for you, right? If you're not a football player,
But I think it's kind of weird if you join immediately.
well, you don't have to join immediately, but you're trying to figure out who you might kind of approach later on, right? You're trying to figure out, yeah, who the potential friend groups are for you, right? So interest is one of them, right? You might look and see if you're really into band, yeah, you might say, oh, maybe the band people will accept me, right? If you're a football player, oh, maybe the jocks will accept me, right? What else might you look for? Or what else might determine whether you think this group might be a good group for you or a not good group?
Maybe sit the one who from Africa too.
Okay. So
Because you're
what
from Africa, right?
she is from Africa, right? And she kind of does that, doesn't she? Doesn't she go to, I think she goes to the table of unfriendly black hotties, and what does she say? Did you catch it? She says Jambo, which I think is hello in Swahili, I think. So she kind of assumes that they're black, they must be from Africa, and maybe she can greet them in this language, right? And what do? They all look at her, they're like, what are you talking about? Right? So that's a little awkward, but so yeah, you might look for people who are like you or from the same part of the world as you, because based on the groups that we know, is race or ethnicity part of some group identities? It is, right? The unfriendly black hotties are all black, right? There's no white people in that group. The Asian nerds,
Yeah.
All around.
they're all Asians, right? The cool Asians, also all Asians, right? So there's a little bit of race is kind of a component of these group memberships, right? Not all of them, right? The band geeks are, they're all into band, right? Their race doesn't matter. But other groups, it does, right? The preppy guys tend to be white as well, Preppy guys tend to be.
I forgot what you
Preppy guys are like they're like the male plastics, right?
Oh.
Yeah, kind of wealthy, kind of stylish. They like to wear polo shirts with the collar up. Although I don't know if people do that anymore, but they were doing that a few years ago. Actually, and they were wearing like two polo shirts on top of each other, which was a thing for a while. That was cool. That was cool for like 5 minutes. Anyway, okay, so race and ethnicity might be part of some group memberships, right? If you're Asian, you might look at the other groups of Asians and say, I wonder, right? Maybe those people will accept me. What else is kind of part of group membership here at the school?
Is it the one who same gender, I guess?
Yeah, gender's part of it too, right? The plastics are all,
No.
they're all girls, right? Do you think there's any room for guys in that group? Don't think so, right? What about the jocks? Any room for girls in that group? Not really. Maybe the cheerleaders from the football games, right? But yeah, that's a group of guys, right? That's a group of guys. The plastics are a group of girls. So gender is part of it as well, right? Not for every group, right? The band geeks are mixed gender, right? But some groups are gender specific. Some groups are race specific. Some groups are interest specific, right? So, and some are kind of a combination of the two, right? I assume the Asian nerds are that group because they're Asian, but also because they're interested in nerdy things, whatever those are, right? So yeah, the different kind of social groups here are composed of gender sometimes, race or ethnicity sometimes, interest sometimes. What's another kind of way in which these groups are different from each other? I'll give you a hint.
Behavior.
What's that?
Behavior.
Behavior? Okay, how so?
Maybe plastic tend to be aggressive.
The who's aggressive?
The plastics.
They are a little scary.
And the nerd tend to be more into books. Maybe.
Yeah, right. So there's definitely behavioral differences, right? Some groups are going to be, a little softer. Some groups are going to be a little tougher, right? That's true. What about other ways in which these groups are different? Yeah, social status or popularity, right? However you want to say it. Yeah, some groups are super popular, right? If you know you're a really nerdy person, which, guilty. If you know you're a nerdy person, you might look at the coolest table at the school and you'd be like, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to go and try to sit there, right? I think that might not go well, right? So we might kind of try to figure out where we sit in that social hierarchy and then join a group that we think is the same, right? And so again, if you're a really nerdy person, hello, then you might look for a table full of nerdy people, right? You might not go over to the jock table. Again, that might not go very well for you. So yeah, you might look at race, you might look at gender, you might look at interests, you might look at kind of relative social status, right? How popular does this group look, and do I feel like I fit in there, right? Or are they too cool for me, right? Even though, well, never mind. You might do that, right? And of course, for Katie, she's clueless about all of that stuff, right? She doesn't really understand the hierarchy, right? She doesn't understand who's cool and who's not. She doesn't understand how the social groups work, right? She assumes that the unfriendly black hotties are from Africa, so she says, Jumbo, and they're not, right? Remember her first day in class there with Miss Norbury? She has a new student from Africa, and she's like, oh, welcome. And the one black girl in the class, and she's like, I'm from Michigan. So Katie's kind of making mistakes, right? Because she just doesn't understand. She just doesn't understand how any of these things work, right? And she sits down with the plastics, but she's not really sure how they work either, right? Because they're very, what's the word?
Really different.
They're different. They're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the way they are, they're kind of,
Icons.
they're what?
Icons.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess she just doesn't quite understand any of those things, right? And so she's just kind of blindly wandering around trying to figure out who might be her friend group, right? But again, because she doesn't understand, how the school works, she doesn't understand the social structure, she's a little clueless, right? And I think, would you say that the plastics is a good fit for her, knowing what we know about them and knowing what we know about her?
No.
No. Yeah, it's probably not. She's probably in the wrong group, right? Although the plastics have kind of pulled her in and they're making her one of them, but she's kind of she's not a good fit for them, really. But we'll see how that works out. The plastics have rules, right? Social groups have particular rules sometimes that are specific to them. What are the rules in the plastics?
Ponytail once a week.
You can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week. I guess that's today for you.
If you want to buy a skirt, you have to tell them.
Yeah, or just clothes in general, right? If you want to buy some new clothes, you need the approval of the group. Interesting. What else?
On Wednesday, you wear pink.
Wednesdays we wear pink, right? Okay. Other rules. Wednesdays wear pink.
Okay, it's a lot.
Hair in a ponytail once a week. Group approval on clothing purchases. What about jeans and sweatpants? Only on Friday. Jeans and sweatpants. What about dating someone else's ex? No, right? That's just like the rules of feminism. So, yeah, no dating somebody's ex.
You can't wear a tank top 2 days in a row.
Oh, I missed that one. You can't wear a
That
tank.
one, I just Googled it.
Oh, okay. No tank top 2 days in a row. Okay.
We only wear jeans or track pants in Friday.
Okay. Jeans or track pants or sweatpants on Friday. Pink on Wednesday. Ponytail once a week. And what happens if you break any of these rules?
Out.
Well, sort of. But what is? I think it's Gretchen that says it specifically.
They're not welcome together.
Yeah, can't sit with us, right? And she says, and not just you, any of us, right? If anyone breaks the rules, they can't sit with them at lunch, right? Okay. Okay, I think we're ready to go on. Any questions on the movie before we continue with it?
We're gonna finish it.
We're gonna finish it.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't just tease you with like first 20 minutes and then say, oh, okay, that's enough. We have to finish the movie. We need closure. Okay, let's keep watching. For those of you at home, again, I'll just review quickly. If you want to watch it and you have a streaming service like Netflix or Amazon Prime, if it's on there, you can watch it there, no problem. If you don't, though, you can go through the college library here. This is the college webpage. Click on library, then click on find materials there at the bottom left. Then click on streaming videos, then choose this, Criterion on Demand. That's the first one in the list. And when you get to it, you'll get to a page like this. You'll search for Mean Girls and it will show up so you can watch it on your own, okay? So I think was it 25 minutes we watched yesterday? That's what it was, right? 25 minutes? Okay. Let's do, let's do another 25 and then we'll take a break. And then when we come back from the break, we'll talk about what we've seen, okay? So I'll just put it here, 25 minutes to 50 minutes. That's what we'll, oops, type it in properly. Yeah, so we'll watch from 25 to 50 minutes Sorry, that should be 55. Duh, no, it shouldn't. Okay. 25 to 50 minutes, take a break, and then we'll talk about what we've seen. Okay? So online people, I'll see you in just a little bit, okay? Enjoy this section of the movie. Mute. Okay, so we are back. I'm gonna go back here. Oops. Go back there. Okay, so a few more events have occurred here, right? We saw the Halloween party at which Regina stabbed Katie in the back, right? She said she was going to say nice things to Aaron about Katie, and then what did she do?
Kind of cheat on her.
Well, kind of, right? Yeah, she got back together with him, right? Katie was all, "Oh, I think he's so great." And then
How dare you?
yeah, right? Awful. Awful. So that happens. We see the little the Christmas dance there to Jingle Bell Rock. And right after, I guess a little bit after that, we see oh yeah, we had Kevin Napur's kind of inappropriate hip hop song. Yeah, and it seems like Regina's really mad at Gretchen, right? She doesn't seem to like Gretchen anymore. But Gretchen is trying to please Regina, right? She's trying to be nicer to Regina. And Katie says that Gretchen knew that, it was better to be in a group than to not be in one. And why do you think she says that? Why? She what?
She wanna be popular.
Oh, give me a little bit more than, yeah, but give me more. So Gretchen wants to be popular? Why?
She kind of enjoys to being the focus by the others. She kind of enjoyed that, and when she be with Regina,
Yeah.
it can help her kind of become more attractive.
Sure.
Yes.
So Gretchen kind of looks better as a member of this group.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. True. And Jen, you said that she kind of likes she likes the attention, like she likes the fact that people are kind of looking at her and talking about her. She likes being popular, I guess. What else? Cleo, what do you think? If she's in the group, people will. In what way? Or just they'll just look at her. Period. Okay. People will. Okay. People will be. Oh, people will admire her, pay attention to her. Arena, what do you think?
Maybe she does want to be alone.
Yeah, right. Maybe she just doesn't want to be alone. Yeah, it kind of looks like this school is very cliquey kind of thing, right? It's got these little social groups that everyone's in, and yeah, if Gretchen is not in the plastics, where will she go? Right? What group will she fit into? Right? Where will she find new friends? Right? So, yeah, there's part of it, right? There's a sense of I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be lost in, a high school where everyone is in their own friend group and I'm just by myself. I don't want that, right? She may enjoy the attention, right? And maybe another word to add to this is the prestige of being part of the plastics, right? Because the plastics they're on top of the social hierarchy, right? They're one of the most popular groups in school. So if she's part of that group, everybody kind of looks up to her, right? They give her extra respect, or they treat her like royalty kind of thing, right? So yeah, if she wasn't a member of the plastic, she wouldn't really get that. And maybe she likes it. What else? Anything else? Any other reason why Gretchen might say that? Even though Regina's being awful to her? this might be a little complicated, but see how this feels for you. We said earlier today that some of the social groups in the high school are based on, some of them are based on gender, some of them based on race, some of them on hobbies, some of them on social status, right? Or a mixture of those things. And so what's kind of happening is that those groups have an identity, don't they? Yeah. And similarly, or kind of in a sort of reverse way, we have part of our identity formed by being part of a social group, right? Is part of your identity the fact that you are Indonesian or Chinese or wherever in the world you're from? Is that part of your identity? Kenyan? Yeah, right? That's a little part of your identity. Is part of your identity the fact that you're a member of your family? You're a member of that group, and so that's part of your identity, right? And so part of who you are is the social groups that you belong to, right? And so do you think, or does it sound reasonable to you that part of who Gretchen thinks she is, right? When Gretchen thinks about who Gretchen is, part of her identity is that she's one of the plastics, right? So if she got kicked out, or if she left the group, then that piece of her identity is missing, right? Who is she now, right? If she's not part of the most popular group in school, if she's not one of the queen bees, who is she, right? And so she loses a piece of that identity, right? And then she'll have to, if she were kicked out, she'd have to kind of try to figure that out, right? Who am I now that I'm not that, right? And again, any of the people in groups would have to deal with that, right? If some guy was kicked off the football team or cut from the football team, he'd have to deal with that because part of his identity was, yeah, I'm on the football team of North Shore High. And then when you're not, it's gone, right? And you're like, oh, well, who am I if I'm not that? And of course, we're all more than that, right? We're all more than just one thing. And Gretchen is certainly more than just a member of the Plastics, but she'll lose a piece of her identity, right? She'll lose a piece of who she thinks she is. And then she'll have to start rebuilding that. And that's uncomfortable, right? That's a scary, uncomfortable process, right? And Gretchen probably wants to avoid that. And so she's going to put up with, the treatment from Regina probably because of all the reasons we said. She doesn't want to lose that piece of her identity, but she also likes being in the group. She likes people looking up to her. She likes being popular. And she doesn't want to be alone, right? It's probably all of those things. And so this is kind of an added bonus thing, but so what's going to happen? Well, she's going to follow the rules of the group, right? This group has, North Shore High School has beliefs and values and norms, but this little social group, the Plastics, has them as well, right? And so she's going to follow the rules and try to stay a part of it, even though she's unhappy, right? Because she wants to be accepted. She wants to be part of the group, right? Oh yeah, okay. So we're starting to see this now, number 5. We're starting to see how Katie's starting to act like Regina a little bit, isn't she? And dress like Regina? And talk like Regina? Right?
Yeah, I think it's because of influence.
Yeah, right? I laughed at that line where she comes into the soap shop where Janice works, and Janice says, "You smell like a baby prostitute," which is, an awful thing to say, and Katie's like, "Oh, thank you," right? Why is this happening? Why is she starting to act like Regina? Chen, you said she's
Influence.
okay. Give me a little more.
I think because she kind of close, I think, because she is in the group,
She is in the group, yep.
and also she's also new to the environment.
Okay, she's kind of. I guess we kind of do that, right? When we're in a new context and we feel we're kind of all alone, you kind of go along with what everyone else is doing, right? You're not really sure what's happening, and so you just kind of, well, everyone else seems to be doing this, so I'll do it too, right? Maybe there's some of that, right? There's probably some of that for sure. Marina, what do you think?
Maybe they help her to socialize and they teach the norms and when she behaves like
Sorry, say that one more time.
they help her to socialize like when she starts to coping their behavior and emotions and
Yeah, there's some pretty powerful socialization going on here, right? Would you say that Regina herself is an agent of socialization? Yeah, she is, right? And a very powerful one, right? Look what happened when Janice wrecked her top, right? She snuck into the girls' locker room and cut holes in Regina's tank top, and then Regina just was like, okay, whatever, and she wore it. What happened?
Everyone just following.
Everyone started doing it, right? It was a prank, right? But Regina's like, okay, I'm gonna own this. I'm gonna rock this, and yeah, everyone else started doing it because she's such a powerful agent of socialization, right? People look to her to kind of set what's normal, right? There's values and beliefs and norms, and Regina has control over some of those things, right? She determines what's cool and what's not, right? And so when she wears the tank top with the holes, she's obviously decided it's cool, and that means it's cool, right? And it works with some of the other girls too. Did we see the part where the desperate wannabe girl, she said, I heard Katie got army pants and flip-flops, so I got army pants and flip-flops? Same thing is happening, right? Katie's becoming an agent of socialization as well. Katie thinks it's cool, therefore everyone else thinks it's cool too, right? They follow her because she's setting the norms, right? And this is a really interesting thing, I think, because does Katie even like Regina at this point? No, she doesn't, right? In fact, she and Janice and Damien are trying to destroy her, right? They have a plan to destroy her, and they're trying to they're trying to destroy Regina, and yet at the same time Katie is being socialized by Regina, right? She's becoming her in a way, which again is really odd, isn't it? Yeah, you would think she would try to be, different, right? She would not want to be like Regina because she's trying to destroy her. But again, Regina is such a powerful social agent, right? An agent of socialization. She's so powerful that it almost doesn't matter, right? That Katie kind of falls into this trap of becoming Regina while trying to destroy her at the same time, right? Which is, again, kind of weird, I think, but also not very realistic, I think, that like such a thing could happen in real life, for sure. Okay, are we good so far? Any questions about what's going on? No, it's all good. It's all good. Crazio, you good back there? All right. Okay. All right. So let's continue on. We're at 50 minutes now. What do we have left here? We watched 20. Let's watch 15 minutes. Okay. So we'll watch from 50 minutes to, I guess that'll be 65 minutes or an hour and 5. So we'll watch 15 more minutes, see what happens. And then I guess we'll probably have to finish it on Monday, but I think that's okay, as long as we don't forget what's happened. So online people, I'll direct you back to the movie, watch another 15, and then come back here, okay? We'll see you in a bit. All right. So, last question before I send you off for the weekend. We see Regina wears sweatpants, right? And it's not Friday. And according to the rules, of course, the girls make her sit at another table, or they say they can't sit with her. What's happening there in kind of sociology terms?
Because Roman, she kind of hates her Regina, and the reason why she is very sweet and just a reason. They always can find another reason to let her out.
Yeah.
She just needs a reason.
They just
need a reason.
You think they wanted a reason to kick
They
her
just
out?
need to find a reason.
Okay.
Anything can give you that reason.
Okay, maybe.
But also the sweatpants. I think she said the only thing that fit her is sweatpants.
Yeah. Yeah, because Katie was feeding her those like protein bars, right? That are making her gain weight, even though she told Regina they'll help her lose weight. Whoops. So yeah, but what's going on there sociology wise?
She broke the rule.
She broke the rule, right? And what's happening now? She broke the rule. They're what? I can't hear you. Yeah, she's facing consequences, right? She's being punished, right? This is exactly what we talked about with social norms, right? When people violate social norms, we kind of punish them a little bit, right? And again, maybe we say something, or we give them the side eye, or we distance ourselves a little bit from them. But here, that's the punishment. You can't sit with us, right? And it's pretty interesting. What does Regina say? She's Gretchen says you can't sit with us, or Karen says you can't sit with us. And what does Regina say? She's like, those rules,
Not real.
yeah, those aren't real. Those rules aren't real, right?
To avoid.
What's that?
Using to avoid.
Yeah, they're not real, but they still have power, right? And again, that's going back to the social construction thing, right? Things that people believe to be true, or that people give meaning to, they have power, right? In the grand scheme of the universe, does it matter whether Regina George wears sweatpants or jeans or a skirt? No, right? Nobody cares. The world is not changed or ended by what she wears. It is an arbitrary rule, right? It's a rule that's just made up for no reason, and it has no consequence one way or the other. But it does have consequence because the girls give it power. The girls give it meaning. If you don't follow it, you can't sit with us, right? If I go around and every time somebody offers their hand to shake my hand and, say nice to meet you, every time that happens, if I never do it, if I just stand there and don't shake their hand, there's going to be consequences, right? People are going to be like, what's up with that guy? Why doesn't he like shaking anyone's hand? That's kind of weird. Is he like, is he kind of a jerk, or is he like a germaphobe, or what's his thing, right? People will start to look at me different if I don't follow the social rules. They'll start to kind of punish me to get me to follow them. And that's exactly what's happening here, right? The girls are punishing Regina, even though she's probably the one who made up the rule in the first place. But the rule has power, right? And think about what a punishment that is. It doesn't sound like much, but keep in mind, this is in front of the whole school, right? Everybody is in the cafeteria, everyone's looking, and the plastics are right in the center, right? They're in everyone's view, right? Everyone's constantly looking at them because they're, the most popular, the most beautiful, the most stylish. And then to see one of their group kicked out, even for a day, and everyone sees it and everyone's talking, brutal, right? Brutal punishment. And you can see how that probably for the most part, keeps the girls in line, right? And really, Regina only breaks the rule because she kind of has to, right? Because her sweatpants are the only thing that fits right now. But yeah, it demonstrates that kind of socialization. We teach people the rules, and then when they violate them, we kind of punish them a little bit, right? Sometimes just a little bit, sometimes a little nudge in the right direction. Sometimes I think this is a pretty extreme punishment, right? For a group that is so focused on status and popularity to, publicly, exclude one of their group. Oof. Right? Tough. That's a tough one. Okay. Lovely people. So I'm going to let you go in just a minute. We'll finish this. We'll finish the movie on Monday because again, we need closure. We can't just leave it hanging. Finish the movie on Monday. I'd like to have a quiz on Wednesday. Okay. And so I've put something in Microsoft Teams. I'll explain in a little more detail how it'll work on Monday, but I've given a quick overview of it in Microsoft Teams. So if you feel like you want to get started preparing on the weekend, you'll be able to do that. Okay. Other than that, I think I'll let you go. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a nice weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. Maybe get outside and walk around if it's sunny and beautiful. It's good to move your body in between sleeping and eating. So, okay, that's all I have. Pack it up. See you Monday, okay? Okay, see you people.